often ask me, is selling your home subject to worth it? In this video, I want to talk a little bit about what subject to is and if it's worth it as a VA seller on whether it's worth it to sell your house in subject to. This is a topic that comes up a lot in our Vetter VA community. I've been a part of Vetter VA for several years now. Chris Griffith, the founder of Vetter VA, started a whole discussion yesterday on Facebook about this. And I felt that it is just something that's very important that needs to be discussed, because most veterans have no clue about this, that they're getting into some situations they shouldn't be getting into. Oftentimes these investors think they know what they're talking about, don't know what they're talking about either. And so it's a clueless leading the clueless. And I don't think it's intentional, but there's a lot of things you need to understand here. So first of all, what is subject to anyway? So subject to is a type of assumption. It is different from a traditional assumption. So first of all, we need to talk about what subject to is versus a traditional VA assumption. A traditional VA assumption is allowed on every VA home loan. It's literally in your paperwork, and that's done with the lender. Now we're seeing a lot more of these right now because we've got these 2 and 3% rates out there from 4 years ago. That nowadays getting a regular loan is at 6-ish. So people are like, okay, well, gee, I can assume this loan that's at 2 or 3% versus 6, and well, it's a better deal, right? And so in a traditional assumption, the buyer takes over your payments, and they need to qualify. They actually have to go through the entire qualification process as if they start from scratch. Most importantly, it goes on the buyer's credit, not your credit, and entitlement transfers over if the buyer is a veteran. Subject to has none of this. Subject to is simply the buyer taking over title to your house. You have the mortgage. And so, as you might imagine, there's a lot of risks involved in that. And so first thing I want to say is, if you are the seller and you have other ways to sell your house, then that's a much better way to do it. Next thing to know is it actually breaks the lender's terms of service. People don't realize this, but on a mortgage, there is something called the due on sale clause. What the due on sale clause says is the lender has the right to call the loan due if the house is sold. That's in every loan's terms of service. Now, what investors will tell you, and I've taken a lot of investor seminars, don't get me wrong,